Kaylee, our next question is for you related to the vaccine approval. Can you tell us how did the vaccine get approved so quickly?
Absolutely. If you want to go to the next slide, perfect. So I know that it seems to all of us that this vaccine was approved very quickly, but all of the steps that are normally involved in clinical trials were involved here. So for those of us that don't know exactly how clinical trials work, I put this infographic up on the screen for you. And I'm not going to belabor you by going through every single step, but what I do think is important is that we look at the number of people and the phases and at what point the emergency use authorization was granted. So typically how this works in phase one is we have a small number of people. Once safety is established, safety is our first priority. Once safety is established, we move to phase two, which is a little bit more people. And then once we know that we're safe and effective, then we go to phase three. So phase three typically involves 1,000 to 3,000 people. And this is any new drug that comes to market, any name brand medication that the FDA would review. It's typically done in 1,000 to 3,000 people. What's so extraordinary about this vaccine is the phase three was done in 44,000 people with the Pfizer vaccine. So that is more than 10 times the amount of people we typically have in any drug that's brought to market. So, and that's exactly what happened with this Pfizer vaccine. We did phase one, we did phase two, we did phase three. And that's the normal point that the FDA would review the phase three data and, review it for safety, review it for efficacy, and compare it to the standard of care. So with our Pfizer vaccine, we are reviewing it exactly where we would normally review it at. And as you can imagine, the reason it seems so fast is because this process was expedited because we're in an emergency period. So normally there's a huge backlog of new drug applications on the FDA's desk. And what happened with our COVID vaccines is they were just moved to the front of the line. So the FDA has reviewed everything. They know that it's safe. They know that it's effective. It was studied in lots and lots more people than is normally studied in. And they said it was both safe and effective to use. What's also remarkable is that their threshold was a 50% efficacy rate, and our vaccines have 94 to 95% efficacy. So it's way more efficacious than was even our bottom line threshold. Something else to help us feel a little bit better is that the technology that Dr. Lash is going to talk about next with the mRNA is not new technology. It's an mRNA technology, and it's been around for 20 or so years. It's been used to help develop vaccines for things like flu and Zika and rabies. It's not just this coronavirus vaccine, and it's not brand new technology. So, what we'll be doing also is as the general population continues to get the vaccine, is all of these adverse effects data are continuing to be collected. They'll be collected for 2+ years. And if any sort of anomalies sort of surface with mass immunization, those will be taken into consideration by the FDA and appropriate safety concerns will be issued.